The Many Different Worlds. 24 Chapter 1. Jackie, a man forged in the crucible of military service, carried the grit of 10 years in the United States Army in his very bones. He hadn't just served. He'd lived and breathed the disciplined chaos of it all, emerging on the other side with an unshakable belief that true strength was earned, not given. His tour of duty over, he'd pivoted his formidable discipline to the entrepreneurial world, co-founding a burgeoning security consultancy with his best friend, Yazatas. Yazatas. Even his name felt like a whisper from an ancient wind, a peculiar echo in the modern world, yet it suited the man. He was sharp, observant, and possessed a mischievous glint in his eyes that Jackie had come to trust implicitly. Their friendship wasn't just built on shared business ventures. It was cemented by a profound, if sometimes contradictory, understanding and a mutual adherence to a simple, unyielding creed. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. It was a philosophy that had carried Jackie through countless deployments, and now it was the bedrock of their civilian lives. On this particular evening, the familiar hum of the television filled Jackie's spacious living room, casting a mesmerizing glow across the comfortable, if slightly Spartan Dacre. Supernatural blared across the screen, a show Jackie had devoured multiple times, each rewatch peeling back new layers of lore and monster-hunting tenacity. It was his comfort food, his escape, and a vivid testament to his conviction that ordinary humans, through sheer will and relentless effort, could conquer the extraordinary. His eyes, though, often drifted from the monster of the week to Amara, God's sister, whose enigmatic beauty held him captivated. The actress, Emily Swallow, was, in Jackie's humble opinion, simply stunning. Yazatas, sprawled on the adjacent sofa, meticulously cleaned a pair of specialized binoculars, a prop from an upcoming training exercise, perhaps, his focus intermittently pulled to the screen. He finally set the binoculars down with a sigh, a faint smirk playing on his lips. "You know, Jackie," he began, his voice laced with mock seriousness, "I gotta give you my opinion on this show, and frankly, it's kind of dumb." Jackie bristled, his military calm instantly dissolving into an indignant gasp. "What? How is it dumb? This is one of the greatest TV shows ever made. You just say that because it's not some Ice Guy anime." He jabbed a finger towards the screen, as if the Winchesters themselves could hear his defense. Yazatas chuckled, a deep, resonant sound. "You can't be serious," he pressed, leaning forward. "Let me point out some glaring problems with the show. 1. The monsters, the gods, the angels. They are all, without exception, weak. They possess powers that could obliterate cities, reshape planets, create entire realities, and yet somehow Sam and Dean Winchester, two glorified mechanics with a rusty Impala, always win. The Winchesters, who use no magic, who have no inherent powers, just win against them," he scoffed. "If the characters in that story weren't so utterly stupid, they'd win against your boys 10 out of 10 times. And besides," he added, his smirk widening, "what's wrong with Ice Guy anime?" Jackie turned back to the TV, his gaze intense. "You see Sam and Dean here," he demanded, gesturing emphatically. "They are normal humans who put in the hard work to beat demons, angels, and gods by being smarter than them, by always pushing themselves to their limit. They weren't given power like in your ridiculous Ice Guy anime." He turned back to Yazatas, his expression earnest. "The Ice Guy anime is just some overpowered fantasy where the MC is just given power. He or she doesn't need to work for it. It's lazy storytelling." Yazatas' eyes narrowed slightly, a flicker of genuine annoyance in their depths. "What's wrong with being given power?" he retorted, his voice rising a notch. "And besides, some of them do work to be overpowered. Don't generalize." Jackie let out a short, derisive laugh. "Oh, please. They're given some absolutely busted ability or some kind of powerful body that nobody else has, and the only thing they need to do is put in a little bit of work and boom, they're overpowered. They don't need to put in a lot of grinding, soul-crushing work like my boys here did in Supernatural." "Oh, please," Yazatas shot back, sitting up straight. "Sam and Dean were given hep by God the whole time. We see what happens when their plot armor is taken away. They suck. They literally had to go to the god of luck just to get their plot armor back, for crying out loud." Jackie, despite a gnawing feeling that his friend might have a point, stubbornly refused to concede. "They still beat Chuck," he declared, pointing a triumphant finger at the screen. The strongest god in the supernatural universe. That wasn't plot armor, that was sheer human will. So what? Yazatas countered, his voice dripping with incredulity. They only won because of the plot. Literally, Chuck, as God, has the ability to see the future of every timeline. There's no way anyone could lose with that power unless he chose to lose or was written to lose. Jackie glared, unyielding. I don't care. They still put in the work and won. Even if everything was plot, they are not winning with some overpowered ability or superpower given to them on a silver platter. Do you hate overpowered abilities or power-ups, Jackie? Yazatas asked, his tone softening slightly, a strange curiosity entering his eyes. No, I don't hate it, Jackie admitted, leaning back, the fire in his eyes still burning. I just don't like it when they are just given the powers without putting any work into getting it. I bet if I was in Supernatural, I could do better. He straightened, a look of fierce conviction on his face. I bet I could survive and win against those monsters. I wouldn't need plot armor, I'd need my training. Yazatas smiled, a slow, enigmatic expression that sent a shiver down Jackie's spine. Do you truly believe you can do better? He asked, his voice now lower, carrying an unusual weight. Of course I can, Jackie asserted, thumped his chest. I am a trained military man who's been in the United States Army for 10 years. Adaptability, strategy, combat, it's all second nature to me. I'm sure I could survive and win in the supernatural universe. Okay then, Yazatas said, a new glint in his eyes that was both ancient and deeply amused. Let's put that to the test. Before Jackie could ask him what he meant, the world around him dissolved. The comfortable living room, the flickering television, the very air itself, all twisted and warped, then reformed with dizzying speed. One moment he was lounging on a sofa, the next he was standing on rough, uneven ground, the scent of pine and damp earth filling his nostrils. Towering trees, their branches laden with thick foliage, loomed around him, obscuring a sky that was a deepening twilight blue. A chilling breeze rustled through the leaves, carrying with it the distant hoot of an owl and something else, a faint, guttural growl that brought the hairs on Jackie's neck to attention. What happened? Jackie stammered, his military training instantly kicking in, assessing his surroundings even as his mind reeled. He spun around, searching for his friend. Yazatas stood a few feet away, entirely unperturbed by the sudden, impossible transition, a serene, almost detached expression on his face. Where are we? How did we even get outside? Jackie demanded, his voice hushed with disbelief. Calm down, my friend, Yazatas said, his voice unhurried, almost soothing. Allow me to explain to you what I am. First, I am a god. Jackie stared, then barked a short, disbelieving laugh. Really? A god? Which mythology are you from, some obscure internet forums fanfiction? Zoroastrianism, Yazatas replied, a hint of ancient weariness in his tone. One of the oldest monotheistic religions, if you must know. I am a Yazata. Jackie blinked. Zoro, what now? I never heard of it before. Yazatas sighed, a sound that seemed to carry the weight of forgotten millennia. Oh, come on, have humans really forgotten us that much? We were quite popular back in the day, you know, very fashionable, spiritually speaking. He paused, gathering his thoughts. I suppose a brief rundown is in order for your limited mortal comprehension. Zoroastrianism is a monotheistic religion centered on the worship of one supreme, benevolent deity, Ahura Mazda, the wise Lord, who is the creator of the universe and the source of all good. In addition to this singular god, Zoroastrianism features a dualistic struggle between good and evil, with the destructive spirit Angra Mainyu, also known as Ahriman, representing the forces of darkness and chaos. There are also lesser divinities, like myself, known as Yazatas, who serve as agents of Ahura Mazda and the Amsha Spentas, 6 divine beings personifying key divine attributes. He finished with an almost theatrical flourish. The supreme deity, Ahura Mazda, the singular, all-powerful god, regarded as the creator of all things good and just. Now you understand. Jackie, though still reeling, processed the information with the analytical focus of a man who'd once had to understand complex battle plans from a single briefing. Okay, cool. You're a god, a Zoroastrian god. So what are we doing here in this forest? Yazatas gestured around them, a subtle ripple in the air accompanying his movement. We are here in this. This is the supernatural reality, one I just created. Jackie's jaw dropped. What? You mean supernatural is real, all of it? Demons, angels, all of it. It wasn't before, Yazatas corrected, a mischievous glint back in his eyes. I just created this whole reality, complete with its lore, its creatures, its prophecies, everything, just now for one reason. What's the reason? Jackie demanded, his military skepticism wrestling with the dawning, terrifying, exhilarating truth. To prove you wrong, Yazatas stated simply. Here, in this universe, people and the supernatural beings will not act like idiots. Their powers will be consistent, their intelligence will be intact, and their ruthlessness will be absolute. You just have to beat this universe to prove your point. You can get powers with hard work, and you can survive and win by being better than the Winchesters. Or you can just go back to your universe right now. And the only thing you need to do is just admit. There is nothing wrong with being given powers or being stronger than everyone else. Jackie looked at his friend, then at the deepening shadows of the forest, a strange energy thrumming through him. His 10 years in the military had taught him to never back down from a challenge, and this was the ultimate challenge. No way, he said, his voice firm, resolute. I will survive here and win against this universe, to prove my point. Yazatas smiled, a genuine, delighted smile. Okay then, Jackie, let the game begin. Here are the rules. You get 3 lives like in a video game. If you die 3 times, you get sent back to your universe and I win. If you ever admit I was right and you were wrong, you get sent back to your universe and I win. You will not get any help from me. Not directly, not indirectly. Not a whisper, not a hint. In the bag next to you, he nodded towards a military-grade rucksack lying by a moss-covered log, is $40,000. That is all the help you get from me. I will be watching you always. With that said, Yazatas shimmered, his form dissolving like mist in the wind, leaving Jackie utterly alone in the burgeoning darkness of the supernatural forest. Jackie stood there, the silence of the forest pressing in on him. A moment ago, his world was mundane, predictable. Now it was a terrifying, exhilarating, supernatural playground. He felt a surge of adrenaline, not fear, but the old, familiar rush of a soldier heading into the unknown. He walked over to the rucksack, hefting it. It was heavy, packed tight. $40,000 was a good start, but in a world of mythical beasts and divine powers, it felt like pocket change. Still, it was a resource, and Jackie was an expert in resourcefulness. He looked up at the moon, now a sliver of silver through the canopy. A faint, distant howl echoed, sending a shiver down his spine. Not of fear, but of anticipation. I hope you like losing, Yazatas, Jackie muttered to the empty air, adjusting the rucksack on his shoulder. Because I'm going to win. I'm going to prove that hard work beats given power every single time. The game had indeed begun, and Jackie, the veteran, the unwavering believer in earned strength, was ready for it. The Winchesters might have had plot armor, but Jackie had 10 years of combat experience, an unshakable will, and a stubborn refusal to lose. And somewhere in the vast, unseen tapestry of this new reality, a Zoroastrian god watched, a knowing smile playing on his ancient lips, silently rooting for his best friend to defy the odds he'd so meticulously stacked against him. The myth of Jackie, the human hero in a world of gods and monsters, had just begun to unfold. CH1